There is a door we all come to, one that protects the facts and truths that hold our reality together from that which floats beyond reason and sanity. Once we walk through that door, nothing is ever the same. We can become lost in the abyss of man's imagination, wandering down the long hall into the kind of madness that is dangerously pervasive. Infected with a delirium most foul and contagious until we are all unable to navigate our way back to what is real. It is here where we find absurd conspiracies. The Man Who Fell to Earth is a 1963 science fiction novel about an extraterrestrial who lands on Earth seeking a way to ferry his people to Earth from his home planet, which is suffering from a severe drought. In the book, the main character, Thomas Jerome Newton, arrives here and forms a plan. Using advanced technology from his home planet, Newton patents many inventions and amasses an incredible wealth as the head of a technology-based conglomerate. He plans to use this wealth to construct space vehicles to bring the rest of the population of Athenan, his home world, here to Earth. It was considered one of the finest science fiction books of its time, and it has been turned into a 1976 film starring David Bowie and 2 different television adaptations. However, many people have come to believe that this story is not fiction, but rather a thinly veiled attempt to warn people that a small group of influencers have been here for hundreds, if not thousands of years, posing as regular humans, giving us technology and knowledge and taking from our world whatever they need. And in fact, they even go so far as to say that it may not be a group of people at all, but rather just one entity with a very long life, and that this entity may not be good or bad, but rather a part of a grander plan. And as for evidence, they ask us to look at historic figures and their lifespans. In the 1400s to the 1800s, lifespans were between 37 years of age to around 50. Yet all of these inventors and important people from antiquity lived considerably longer. Da Vinci lived to 67, Nostradamus to 64, Galileo 77, Ben Franklin 88, and Alejandro Volta 82, all outliving their contemporaries, in some cases by decades. And that is because they were all the same person, an immortal, or the next best thing, a person with a very long lifespan, perhaps tens of thousands of years. They say that it is well documented in one of the oldest books in the world, the Old Testament, where Methuselah lived 969 years. They claim that there was no reason that people stopped living that long. All, they say, that was needed was for some or even one of them to survive the Great Flood. They also point to other ancient cultures and the lifespans that they recorded.
The Mesopotamians believed that living over 1,000 years made someone divine. They did not say that they were gods or that it was impossible. It was not a common thing either, but according to the oldest known human culture, 1,000 years of life was possible. We could be looking at a form of human that predates recorded history, and they might pass along their longevity DNA to their offspring.
They claim that as the world became more advanced, these past few thousand years, these people would have to adapt and change the way they lived. They would have to hide their age, changing lives every so many decades. And as for the technology and knowledge in general, they say that these humans may have been here for tens of thousands of years and have lived through more than one rise of technology in lost human history.
They have wisdom and knowledge that may be 200,000 years or longer. We suspect that we have had advanced cultures peak that were lost in time from impacts or floods or volcanic eruptions or climate change. But these guys, these long-haul guys, they have seen it all. Some of them have tried to help us, others have only tried to help themselves.
That is the problem. Believers say that you cannot be sure what the next one or current one will do, or what their motivation is. They also say these human ancient ones are known to some over the years, and that some artists, writers, and even recent filmmakers have tried to weave into their so-called works of fiction the truth about these ancient influencers. Could it be true? Could our history and civilization have really been influenced by these so-called eternal influencers? And if so, then what would a 2025 version of one of these things look like? And more importantly, to the supporters of this notion, what would be their motivation? For if our culture is in the hands of a benevolent eternal, then we might be all right. But if not, then it's anyone's guess what will happen next.